Want this? Alright, how to put a 3D monster in your scene. We shot at about 4 p.m. looking into the sky for good detail tracking. We also got this 3D alien dog, which we downloaded for free from free3d.com. A great place for free 3D assets. Unfortunately, I can't give you the link, but it's there on the site, so go look it up. So let's get started. Hop into a new NodeVideo project and import your video in. Once it's in, the next thing for us to do is add in our 3D monster. This may take some time to come in, but once it's in, you can play around with the transform settings till you get something you like. See, I wanted it to be behind my neighbor's house, but you can do whatever you want with yours. Same goes for the material settings. Do whatever you like. But for my lighting textures, I chose the M15 because I like the way it looks, but it doesn't really matter too much because we'll change it later. Now trim the 3D layer to be the same length as your clip, and it's time for some animations. This model came with animations pre-installed already, so I just keyframed one of the subtle animations a little bit to give the 3D model some movement, but it all depends on your choice. Once you're done animating, you can now delete your video layer and change the aspect ratio to 1:1 so that the texture will fit properly. Now add a new solid color and make it green by changing the red and blue properties of the color picker panel to 0. And now we'll add in the textures for the model. Move the image to the right side of the model layer and set the model texture to the image. If it looks black and ugly, don't worry, it's just because of the lighting textures. So you can change the lighting texture to M0 to normalize it, then trim the layer to be the same as everything else in the comp. And now you can just export it at 1080p to get the best quality, and that'll give us this. Are you ready now? Now open up CapCut and import your actor shot into a new comp and tap on the remove background option. CapCut has the best background remover so far on mobile. So now add the blue canvas so that we can key out our actor later, then export it. This will act as our roto layer. Now hop back into NodeVideo and add in your actor clip. Then now we'll add the monster video and key out the green with the chroma key. Now once that's done, go back into your actor clip and add a motion tracker effect. Now track a part of the scene that's always in frame, such as this wall. And once the tracker's done its thing, apply the track data to the monster layer, but this will throw it out of place, so just change the transform settings to take it back into place. And now it's time to add in our roto layer. Once that's added in, key out the blue. I'm not really going to show too much because keying out blues is a lot harder than keying out greens. But now to put the monster behind the house, duplicate your video layer and bring it to the front of everything. Delete the motion tracker and add a shape mask. For my shot, I'll change the shape type to rectangle and align it on the same angle as my neighbor's roof. I made slight adjustments, but generally that'll do for now. Now we shot day for night, so it's time to make the shot actually night. Add a new adjustment layer, but I just remembered that I didn't name my layers, and that makes it confusing, so I named the layers for easy identification, but always put this to practice. Now add a basic correction effect and play around with the settings. The most important thing is to decrease the exposure. You can keep on experimenting until you get something that looks good to you. And don't worry about this light sweep effect, just ignore it for now. It was a mistake I made. Though this hole has been bothering me for a while, the hole at the back of my character's neck. So we're gonna fix it. Add in a new shape layer, scale it down a bit, change the color to black, then increase the blur value till it blends well, and place it under the monster layer. Trim it to the comp length and keyframe the position to follow the monster for as long as the shot is. Since our shot is just 4 seconds long, there was no need to motion track it, so after I just keyframed it by hand, by eye, we have this. It's completely gone. There, better. Alright, So the only thing that remains is the sky and the thunder. We can get free stock images from Google for the sky, which is what I did. Once I added it in, I scaled it up and moved it to the bottom of the timeline. Since our sky is a little bit bluish, we can try to key it out. Although this wasn't easy since the sky wasn't very blue. So it keyed out part of my wall as well. I mean, look at that. To fix it, we went back into the cover rotor layer and adjusted the mask and added in the new one to cover the part that was opened up. But because the shot is dark, my actor's head also seems off because of the lighting. So to fix that, we added in a basic correction and decreased the exposure. I did the same thing for the wall and the side of my neighbor's house. Now it looks a bit better. But these clouds aren't moving at all, so to add in some movement, we'll add a fractal noise layer and increase the complexity of the fractal noise layer as well as the contrast to make it look a bit better. This looks good enough, but now we need to animate the evolution so it looks like it's moving smally, so don't do it too much with this. Don't overdo it. And then now we can move this layer below everything on the comp, below our image layer, and go back into the image layer and add in a displacement map effect. Once it's loaded in, change the source from self to the fractal noise layer. All the other settings depend on your sky image itself, so I'll just speed up this part, but once you're done, you should see some movement in the clouds. This is good enough for me, but you can still add some other things to make it better. But back to the monster. I'll delete the mistake I made and go back into the sky layer to add in some lightning. Add a basic correction effect and turn on the mask option. Pick a side of your sky that you want thunder to come from. You can even add multiple sides if you want. I chose the left side and increased the blur a bit. Tap on the mask icon again to take us back into the basic correction settings and increase the exposure. But I feel my mask is too small, so I go back and increase it first. Now for some animation. Turn on the animation stopwatch for the exposure, then move to where you want to add your lightning. Move a couple of frames forward and add a keyframe, then move forward again and increase it to the maximum exposure, and then go some few frames forward and decrease it again. But since I wanted mine to be uniform, I just copied the settings for the one I like most, which is -56, and spread it throughout the animation timeline. And this should give us a flash. But if you want multiple flashes, you can just copy all the keyframes and move them a little bit. That gave me 2 flashes, which I'm super happy with. But now it's time to light up our monster. Add in a light sweep effect. It looks good, but it's not acting as a light flash, so in the edge settings, decrease the thickness to 0, and this will give you a much sexier and realistic light. Move to the place where your flash happened and adjust any settings you'd like. For animation, enable the keyframe of the intensity and start with where your flash starts. Then take it to 0. When your flash is bright, increase the intensity to 1.0 and continue for as long as you need. I only needed to do 2 flashes, so that means I only need to do this twice. And once that's done, you have this. So that's hella cool. And thanks for watching. If this tutorial helped you, please subscribe. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers. We're so close. I think we're at 175 subscribers. But that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. It's been Presto the Editor. Goodbye.